Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report for Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. And we couldn't be more excited here at ECSI. We have a special guest here today, and if you screen and just hear his voice, you'll know who it is. So without further ado, let's bring him in, the one and only Mr. Dubbs Anderson.
Happy Tuesday, baby! What a time to be alive. The PGA Championship, JD. Good to see you, mate. You know I'm excited. You know I'm wound up for this one. I wish I had a seatbelt to keep myself contained, but this is as good as it gets, mate. Only 4 times a year do we get major championship golf, and I dare say this is the pinnacle across all the sports. Better than your Super Bowls, your Stanley Cup playoffs, your NBA playoffs. Right here, the PGA Tour, the PGA Championship. Absolutely. Let's go. I can't wait for Thursday's tea time. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. And you know, it's a field with a million opportunities. I've seen a couple of your shows already this week. I love where your eyes are. There's a million ways now to play these golf tournaments. I mean, what I call myself as a pre-flop specialist, where we'll try to dive in, try to explain some guys that are underpriced. A lot of people will go into the head-to-heads. There's a million ways to play. So before we dive into there, Dubbs, give us your thoughts before tee time. How do you approach such a big field like this?
Well, look, mate, it's a major championship. So obviously the cream is going to rise to the top. This is a week where the intangibles count a little more. I mean, you've got to get yourself into the arm wrestle, and then you're going to be tested over the weekend. I mean, it's very tough to try and win on the PGA Tour as it is, but here at a major, it's the strongest, one of the strongest fields we're going to get all season long. I do look for pedigree. You've got to look at form. You can't just show up and get it done. I mean, Phil Mickelson, that is a complete outlier, getting it done last year at 250 to 1. I don't think we're going to see that this week. You've got to look at the golf course. I mean, horses for courses. What do we know about Southern Hills Country Club this week down there in Tulsa, Oklahoma? It's over 7,500 yards as a par 70. That's a longer golf course. So immediately I'm thinking the small ball warriors, your Kevin Nars, your Kevin Kisners, anyone named Kevin down there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they don't have much of a shot on this ballpark. We look at, around the greens, that's going to be the biggest defense this week. You need short game. Don't fall in love with distance. Short game is key for me. The winning mark's probably only going to get to sort of, 8, 9 under par. It's not going to be your typical birdie shootout. You need that grind, that mental fortitude. So I always look at the key stats: strokes gained around the greens, scrambling. That is going to be very important this week at the PGA Championship. You look at the course layout, there's only 2 par 5s. The par 5s are the best scoring opportunities week to week for these PGA Tour golfers. You take that away from them, it's going to be a very tough ask here. 2 par 5s, both over 600 yards. Wowzers. Very long golf course. If you get a bit of wind up there, you look for shot making. But again, we're always looking for value. But this is a week where I tend to say the top of the board, this is their biggest advantage. The tougher it plays, the high-ranked golfers in the world, they've got all the tricks in the bag, and you're absolutely going to need them here this week for the PGA Championship.
That intro that you just said would lead me to pull up one name right now: Jordan Spieth.
Love it. I mean, how can you not? I mean, Jordan Spieth, look, I don't like what I'm seeing with his golf swing, but hey, we don't have to be textbook. This guy is the ultimate gamer. I mean, he's going to beat you in a game of cards. He's going to beat you in a game of marbles, and you absolutely know he is going to beat you out there on the golf course. He is looking for the career Grand Slam at the majors. Now, that's sort of been overshadowed this week because of everything else going on, mainly all the talk about lefty Phil Mickelson. But look at Jordan Spieth. He got the win there at the RBC. He looked sensational last week at the Byron Nelson. You put him on a golf course where it's a longer course. He's picked up 15 yards this season on the PGA Tour. Sure, he's a little erratic, but the rough is not that penal this week, so he can get away with that. You put him close to the greens. What's his best strength? That imagination, that shot making. Jordan Spieth, an absolute gamer. The only concern is he keeps missing a couple of little tap-in putts that you and me would be struggling to miss out there. That scares me. He can't afford to do that this week, but I like what I'm seeing. Jordan Spieth, I mean, if you could have that mentality, that mindset, put it in Rory McIlroy's body with that kind of talent, that's your world number one golfer right there. Jordan Spieth, he should be a factor moving into the weekend.
You talked about around the greens, and especially when you don't have him on your card. He's got those magic beans chipping out of bunkers, chipping from the fringe. It just, and then it'll infuriate you. He'll 3-putt from 7 feet.
That's him. But he is the ultimate gamer. I mean, we look across all sports. You know, Sidney Crosby's one that comes to mind. These guys just know how to get it done, and they lift for the occasion. They find their best stuff, you know, moving into the weekend here at major championships. So Jordan Spieth, for me, I absolutely love what I'm seeing. The golf swing, who cares? That's the way he plays. He's erratic. You wouldn't have it any other way. Jordan Spieth. That's the mindset. I wish I had that. Maybe I'd be a better golfer out there, out in the links. But Jordan Spieth, love it.
What I'm gonna do here, Dubbs, is I'm gonna pull up the circuit board right now, and here is the latest update with their odds from our friends Derek Stevens, Jeffrey Benson, and Mr. Metcalf. I'm gonna let you take over the stage here. The Scotty Scheffler, you know, he's just had an amazing run, number one golfer right now on the planet. When he enters the tournament, he just wins all of a sudden, and he got me good at the Masters, and I'm still a little salty about that. Former world number one John Rahm, Justin Thomas, Rory. We just talked about Spieth. I know you have a little love affair for Cantlay. Just take it away. There's the numbers, and the stage is yours, my friend.
Look, mate, I could make a case for a lot of them. That's what a major does. I mean, it brings the best golfers in the world together. I mean, Scotty Scheffler, what a dominant run. 4 wins from his last 8 starts. He tells us this is his favorite golf course on the planet. Well, guess what, Scotty? All good things come to an end. We've seen dominant runs like this, from DJs, Spieth, JTs. Look, I think Scheffler's going to be there on the weekend. I don't see him being there Sunday afternoon, so I'm not going to touch that number. John Rahm is not getting much, talk about him, but this, of course, absolutely suits him. The Spanish bullet, 13-1. Justin Thomas, he's putting 3 good rounds together. He's playing 1 angry round, which has taken him out of the golf event. Can't afford to do that this week. But if you look at a course which requires iron play and short game, JT is going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out soon enough. He's got bones on the bag. That's a decent number. Plus 1650. Roy McIlroy at 17-1. That has my attention. I think he found something at the Masters. He looked good at the Wells Fargo in the final tournament. And for a guy like Roy McIlroy, it's all up top between the ears. There's nothing wrong with his golf game. It's all confidence. And right now, he's feeding off that on a long golf course where he needs to work it both ways. For Roy McIlroy, if he's working it both ways, that imagination, it gets him out of his way. He's not thinking golf swing. He's just thinking golf. And that is when he's at his best. So I like that number for Roy McIlroy. Spieth, we touched on Cantlay at 21-1 there. That's a great number. This is a guy with pedigree. 7, wins on the PGA Tour. We've seen it at the Ryder Cup. We saw it at the Tour Championship. People say you can't get it done at the majors. Guess what? It is only a matter of time. You look at his skill set. No weakness across the board. He's a grinder. He wants to go heads up. It just hasn't been the right circumstances. This is a golf course. He can lean on that grit, on that short game. Paddy Cantlay, at that kind of number, that's one of my outright picks. I love that from the top of the board. Dustin Johnson, what is he, plus 2250? It's decent, but how can we back him with confidence? And this is what's going to happen. DJ's going to show up again and say, hey, surprise, I'm back. I'm now married to the great Paulina Gretzky. I don't care about golf, but I'm so good at it. I can win major championships with my big, great stuff. So he scares me, but I don't have confidence in him. And of course, a couple of names up here. Colin Morikawa. This guy just knows how to do it at the majors. A kid who finds his best stuff. You look at his last 2 starts, a win at the PGA, a top 10 at the PGA. His putting is a little questionable, but at the majors, he finds his best stroke. And then Cameron Smith, my Aussie countryman, oi, 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 with the mullet. Look at where he's won this year in Hawaii by beating down John Rahm at the Players' Championship. Of course, he didn't get it done at the Masters, but I think that's motivation for Cam Smith. And again, I'm very big on short game. It's a tough course. He leads the PGA Tour and birdies made. I've got to have my Aussie. Go the mullet. Cameron Smith, that's a very good number for him.
I had Cam Smith at the Masters. We had
very disappointing.
We had 3 out of the 4 going into the final round, and I was just sitting like high above courtside. The smile was like this. He gets a couple shots back, and he had the edge on that. I think it was the 10th hole. And then they both chunked the chip. And then once Scheffler chipped it in, the game was over.
See you later. Yeah, it was sad to see. I mean, Cam Smith, he's got, all the ability, all the talent, but sometimes he plays a little reckless out there. He can't afford to do that. But I think he's learning. I mean, he's still a young fella trying to get that major win. I don't think he's scared. He's just got to play a little smarter. So I think on a course where you need that sort of that grind around the short stuff. And look, the rough, they've brought a lot of it back from around the greens this week. So you need to have a lot of confidence in your short game. He's one of the best. He's one of the best putters in the business. It's been a minute since an Aussie. One of the last 6 winners have all been Americans. I wouldn't be surprised if an international steps up there on Sunday afternoon to lift the Wanamaker. But that's who I like from the top of the board. I mean, some of these other guys, Shoffley, I just don't have confidence. I think he lacks that killer instinct. Matsuyama is playing fantastic. All the books give us a great number on Matsuyama. They have no confidence in him. Brooks Koepka, who knows? He withdrew last week. I don't like what I'm seeing from Brooks. I mean, I see him out on the golf course and he's on the phone. He's texting, he's tweeting. He's not actually grinding on his golf game. He's got this mentality. Of course, he's won this event twice where he thinks he can just show up. It's an arm wrestle. I'm going to intimidate you. I'm going to wear, the skinny shirt, show off the biceps, and that's enough to beat down the competition. Maybe it was a few years ago, not now. So many young guys in such good form who aren't afraid to win. So Brooks Koepka, I've got no faith in that department. Will Zalatoris, another guy there at 37-1 for Willie Z. He hasn't got the breakthrough win on the PGA Tour. I think there may be a little bit of scar tissue. Statistically, good driver, one of the best iron players in the business. But I just don't have confidence in him to get it done here on Sunday. A guy who does stand out to me, the Irish Bear, Shane Lowry, listed here at what? 37-1. That's a great number. Good finishes, 2 top 5s his last 3 starts. He's won the British Open. He's got the best short game, one of the best out of the traps. There's plenty of bunkering, plenty of undulation out there this week. You need that golf IQ. Don't sleep on Shane Lowry. And then there's going to be a couple of beers had all next week if you can get it done, get that second major championship.
For the novice, for someone that just wants to dive into the majors, the Masters, now we're here at the PGA Championship with 10,000 options on how to play these. I mean, you literally, if you don't like a number on a ROM, a JT, or someone up top on that board, you could wait till after Thursday's round, hope they have a bad round, and get a better round there. Head-to-head matchups, first-round leaders. Explain to them, with all your experience and all your knowledge, how they might be able to not just have a little action, but best dissect the board like this.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for the value. You've got to play it smart. I mean, I just read out there, what, about 20 names so I could make a case for that are genuine contenders. But you want to protect yourself. And look, the good thing with the golf, the PGA Tour events, is we're doing it week to week, all year long. There's so many options pre-tournament in the live markets. I tend to sort of target, say a 6-pack in the outright market where obviously we're looking at the top of the board, but you're going to throw in a couple of value plays. And that's the beauty of golf betting. I mean, you realistically can have a guy in this field, say a Max Homa, who's just coming off a win there at the Wells Fargo. He's got all the game in the world. I can definitely see him being in the mix on Sunday, and you're getting a 55-1 number on him. That's huge. That's like going down to 7-Eleven and getting the big lotto ticket and you want to cash a couple of Powerballs on Saturday night. That is what makes the PGA Tour is so wonderful. So you've got to clue on, to some of the bigger numbers. Again, the heads-up matchups. We talk about horses for courses. We look at who suits the golf course. Target those guys in a couple of heads-up matchups. Look at your round 1 low-score warriors. I mean, the round 1 low-scoring market is a great one because you've got to keep this in mind. Some of these guys, they're afraid of the big stage, but you go out Thursday, you're not in a marquee group. You can go have at it, boys. You're playing with a couple of duds, no marquee names. You shoot a 63, 64. Ultimately, you're getting the same number as you would in the outright market, but they don't have to go through the pressure of trying to close out an event on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get it done. Just one round, Thursday, get off to a strong start, and they can cash their ticket. So maybe pick up 2 or 3 in that area. If you're looking for a couple of names this Thursday, look at long bombers, guys who have good form. You can't just show up here and find your best stuff. I'm looking at guys like Cameron Young, Keegan Bradley, one of the best on the PGA Tour in strokes gained tee to green. And then Keith Mitchell. I mean, Keith Mitchell, fantastic driver of the golf ball. You can still get him at 120-1 for a round 1 low score. And you don't have to worry about all that extra pressure, bells and whistles, all the media coming after you. You just tee off early Thursday, get it done, go into the media center and go, oh, whoops, I'm in the lead here of the PGA Championship. Again, heads-up matchups, these are a great one. You pick a golfer who you like to beat a golfer you don't like. Someone who's looking favorable given the way the golf course is going to play. We know it's going to be long this week. We know it's going to be windy. I look at a guy like Sam Burns, -110 over Corey Connors. I think he's got a much better skill set, a longer golf course. Sometimes that is our best advantage. The book doesn't know every one of these 150 players coming into this event. They haven't seen them playing over in Europe, over in Asia. We do, though. That's Dubbsy's biggest edge. I live and breathe this stuff. It's madness. I mean, you look at a guy like Matt Wolff taking on Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson's every chance to pull out if he gets off to a slow start Thursday playing with that injury. You can get Matt Wolff at great plus money. He's sensational on a longer, tougher golf course, just like we have here at Southern Hills Country Club. So I like that. You've got finishing positions. Maybe if you think a golfer is more capable of finishing inside the top 20, top 40, top 10, but they just can't get it done, you're still getting great numbers. I mean, I'll look at a guy like Patrick Reed. Hasn't had a lot of form, but we know it's going to be a grind. If you get under par this week, you're having a fantastic week. You want short game. You want a hot putter. Paddy Reed for a top 40 there, still at plus 220. I think that's great. And then, of course, you can always bet on the top nationalities, top Aussies, top South Africans, if you've got a bit of a lean there. Top Asian player, a guy we touched on earlier there, Hideki Matsuyama, plus 165. Who's he going to beat out? Siwoo Kim. Siwoo Kim, super erratic. We don't want erratic on this golf course. We wanted it last week. You know who else had it last week? KH Lee. He's backing up for this one. Hideki Matsuyama to beat the both of them at plus 165. The book still sleeps on him. So there's so many good numbers, so many good options. It's like when you go to Vegas and you're at the buffet. Give me a couple of plates. I'm going to have this one, a slice of pizza, a tub of jelly. Fill yourself up. And then you're watching all the way through to Sunday with a couple of potential big cash and tickets. But always play it smart. Always play it smart. Protect yourself. Don't get too carried away.
We have a couple minutes left because of your chaotic and crazy schedule. Again, we cannot thank you enough here, Dubbs. Give us your closing thoughts here on what to expect and what you're rooting for or what you see in Tiger this week.
Look, I love what I'm seeing from Tiger Woods. What is he, 75 to 1? This is a golf course that he won back in 2007. He won the PGA Championship here. People are sleeping on him. I think he's going to be better from the run there at the Masters. I don't see him being a factor. Again, I think if he can get through the weekend, that's a big success for him. People say, well, the short game is dialed in. Yeah, that's going to help him. But you look at the length of this golf course, he's going to have a lot of 5 irons, a lot of 6 irons coming in. That's something that he has not been practicing. That's very hard to get back, that kind of ball striking. He's going to be great with his wedges, but it's the mid-irons which scare me. So I think Tiger Woods, if he can make it through the weekend, that's a big success. I don't see him being a factor on Sunday. But again, this is a major. The big difference for these guys, you've just got to get through the weekend. And as Tiger knows, better than anyone, anything can happen. If he can just get his name on the leaderboard, stranger things that happen. He's got that grit. He's got that arm wrestle. And it helps a guy like Tiger when it's not a birdie shootout. He knows he can make a couple of mistakes, wear these guys down. If 6 under gets it done, that's much going to help his chances. So I like that for Tiger Woods. Scotty Scheffler trying to keep the dominant run going. I don't think it happens. I can't get behind him being at the very top of the board. I think Jordan Spieth chasing the career Grand Slam. He's going to be a factor there on Sunday, but I don't think he gets it done. I'm looking at some of these guys who need this win, the extra motivation, like a Cameron Smith, like a Paddy Cantlay. I think it's their time to shine. They've got the skill set to do it. Don't fall in love with the distance of the golf course. It will ultimately come down to short game. Who can scramble the best? This is a very tough golf course. It's absolutely going to beat these boys up. The cream will rise to the top, and I think we see a very congested, condensed leaderboard moving into the weekend, and especially there on Sunday. So if you like having a flutter with the live action, this is going to be a great tournament to do so. But we are not going to see a long bomb, 250 to 1 from the top rope. I'm leaning towards the top of the board. As I touched on, the last 6 winners have all been Americans. I'm going to go with the internationals. Cam Smith, Paddy Cantlay, but don't sleep on the likes of John Rahm and Rory McIlroy sneaking under the radar. Then you can still get a decent number on good old Rory chat. But I think it's going to be a fantastic event. The Masters was good. This one's about to step things up a notch. The PGA Championship down there at Southern Hills Country Club. We got to go and get those tickets in.
Dubbs Anderson at Mr. Dubbsy, at Sports Grid TV, at Props US, at Talk Golf to me. We can't thank you enough. It's been nothing but pleasure. And I can just tell you, my producer has texted me about a half dozen times. He's just going through the roof. He's going to have a blast here. And we're going to have some great clips of you here all over social media, TikTok, and wherever we can get them. Dubbsy, thank you so much. Hopefully we can grab you. The next major will be what? The Open, correct?
That'll be the last, well, with the US Open. Sorry, I get mixed up with the British, but yeah, absolutely over there in Boston. Over your way, lads. We may have to to sync up for that one, eh? A couple of brouhahas. But, mate, love to get back on here, chat it up with the boys, some of the best in the business here, dishing out dimes, talking sports with my East Coast brothers. Does it get any better than this? Not on a Tuesday.
Dubbs, I was at Brookline for the Ryder Cup the last time.
Sensational.
So I plan to be there. And if you are going to be there, lunch and brouhaha is definitely on ECSI.
We are done. We are done. Lock it in.
Dubbs Anderson, we can't thank you enough. Make sure everyone takes down the notes. Replay this again. Get your tickets in. And you talked about the golfers being informed. There's no one in better form than you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Have yourself a week. I'm gonna text you on Sunday. We can celebrate some of these winning tickets. Do it in style.
Thank you very much, Jeff Dawson at ECSI. Thank all the followers and viewers. You can go grab this at the YouTube station and also on Twitch. It's been a blast, and we will definitely cash some tickets. Thanks to Mr. Dubbs Anderson.
Thank you, my man.